Hey everyone, welcome back to Comic Frontline. Jay here with another review. Today I'm reviewing Imperial #1. It is written by Steven T. Seagal and art is by Mark Dos Santos. Now, the story is about this superhero who is the only superhero in the world, and his name is Imperial. But it's also about this regular guy whose name is Mark McDonald. Mark McDonald is this average guy, this average schmo who just lives in a world. He collects comic books and action figures. Well, I'm sorry, not comic books. He collects graphic novels. He's one of those fans. And he's about to get married to a woman named Katie. Now, Katie is pretty much every comic geek stream. She's pretty, she's smart, she's funny, she puts up with all his comic stuff, and she acts like a buddy, like instead of saying I'm gonna go to the restroom, she says like I gotta piss, So it's kind of like a nerd's dream for her to be there, So he's got everything, but in the beginning, he's kind of saying goodbye to his father because his father had passed away, and his last wish was for him to be scattered, his ashes to be scattered in Colorado, in the Rockies. So he goes there to do that, and while he's there, he turns around and Imperial, the biggest superhero, the only superhero in the universe, is standing right behind him. Now, Imperial is like dressed in white with gold trim. He's got this like royal type cape that hangs over him, and he's wearing a crown. So he's very regal looking, almost like a Greek god. If you could think of like Zeus coming down to Earth as a hero, that's how I kind of picture him, Imperial. So now Imperial is one of those heroes where they've seen comic books all around, and it's one of those things where everyone knows him. There was a TV show about him within this universe. So he's scared, and he he like throws ashes on him by accident. And Imperial takes him back to the campsite where he was at, and he tells him, get cleaned up, go home. I'll see you when you're home. You're going to be taken over for me, as Imperial. And this guy's like, what? Like, he can't wrap his mind around it. And then he goes home like nothing's going on, and he's packing up so he can move out, so he can move in the new place when he gets married in a couple of weeks to his girlfriend. And they go out to dinner, which is more like a taste testing dinner, where you go when you're about to get married. You go to these taste testings to see which foods you want at your reception dinner and all that. And Imperium appears outside the window, and he tells his girlfriend, I gotta go. I'm gonna go outside. His girlfriend doesn't know what is going on with them. Imperium takes them up, and they're flying. And what I really like about this is that their flight is kind of realistic, because he's like, this hurts. The wind hurts. It's like ripping my eyeballs out. And Imperial's like, you'll learn how to deal with that eventually. You just have to get used to it. There's a lot of things you have to get used to become Imperial. And Imperial's not really saying anything of why he's been chosen, or why he has to be chosen. So just as the guy's like, I need to get back to my life, I'm about to get married and all that, Imperial's like, I'll let you go right now because there's something else that needs my attention. Guy gets back right outside a restaurant, and he gets sick because he was flying around. His girlfriend comes out and thinks, it's his nerves and all that. And he's like, no, I'm okay, let's go in. And he chalks it all up to, stress of losing his father, of standing up to his boss at work so he can go scatter his father's ashes, the wedding, and everything. He just thinks his mind just imagined all this out of nowhere. But at the end, we see that if it's not really that, because he sees Imperial fall out of the sky, and Imperial's like really beaten up, and then a meteor comes down. So I'm really looking forward to the next issue. The story, I think I wanted more on Imperial. Like, it was a really well done story, but I felt like knowing who Imperial is was a little lacking. Like, I know who he is from the solicitations and all that, but in the story, you really don't know that. And not everyone reads solicitations. Like, I actually read the solicitation for this after I picked it up, because I was like, yeah, let me pick it up because it looks kind of cool, the cover, you know? So I was like, let me pick it up. And then when I'm reading it, I'm like, huh. So I went back and read the solicitations for it, the promotional stuff for it. And that's when I found out more about Imperial. And I think that should have been established in the book. I like that he's the only superhero in the universe. And, a little bit more about him. I think I would have liked that a little bit more. So, the story I want to give 4 stars. Great story, but I think it lacks some details. I know they're trying to play this out, down the road. You'll find out more. But I think they're leaving you hang a little too much. You know nothing about what's going on, really. You feel too much like Mark, and you shouldn't feel like Mark at all. Like, you feel way too much like him. Because actually, you feel less than him, because he at least knows who Imperial is within that universe. We don't even know that. The art, I'm going to give a good solid 4 stars. There are certain times where the facial expressions looked a little bit off, like when Marx finds out that he's going to become Imperial. I don't know, it's like half of his lips are really well done, and then the other half is like flattened out. Like, that little bit of lack of detail there. And it's the weird way his face contorts, I guess. Like the contortion of his face. So I'm gonna give the art 4 stars. Overall, I really do think this is a good book, though. It's something different. We don't know why Imperial has to pass on this power, and like, where's his powers come from, and how is he going to be able to pass them on to him? Does like his crown hold all his powers? And if so, like, why hasn't someone just ripped his crown off of his head or something? I don't know. Like, I want to know all these answers, so I'm going to be picking up issue 2 for sure. And I think you should pick up issue 1, because it's a unique twist on the story. Like, a lot of Image stuff right now have these unique twists on classic superhero stories. So I would definitely pick this up, giving it an overall rating of 4 stars. Well, those are my thoughts. Now I want to know what yours are in the comments below. Also, like this video, subscribe to Comic Frontline, check out and subscribe to my channel, The Comic Book Theater. Check out Comic Frontline, the site, for all the latest previews, reviews, news, and interviews. For even more news on all things related to comics, comicrelated.com is your source for all your comic book needs with daily updates. And don't forget to like and follow me and Comic Frontline on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. I'll include all these links in the description below. Until then, I'll catch you in the next review.